Okay, so I'm going to try to get in a couple, 2 or 3 tournament practice games here. Um, where I had made a few videos recently with doing the 8 rag thing in Modern. I'm trying to uh, get back to legacy stuff, and because this is, really on through all the Modern decks and standard decks and everything I played. This is by far the funnest, in my opinion. I think the funnest deck to play. So changed around a few things. I like to arrange it kind of like this and put the spirit guides and land grants over here to sort of view the mana base for what it is over here. So, of course, Lotus Petals over spirit guides and land grants, and the 3 lands, 3 dual lands, which, of course, in my paper version of this deck, these are the breeding pool and all that kind of stuff instead of the actual duels. So before I had 4 Pact of Negation in the sideboard. I've switched that around a little bit. I'm going to do 1 main board because it's been happening lately that there ends up being some answer that people have to the deck in their main board, and it's been kind of frustrating seeing that. So, especially with things like not just Force of Will, but not having Force of Negation to fight with which did a lot of damage, I think, in the Legacy world to Storm decks in general. I think Force of Will plus Force of Negation is a hard one to fight through. So 2 Scapegoats as usual, and it's a card that I usually end up wanting to see a lot. Like once I start the Storm, generally I want to get to a white source and then see a Scapegoat, which means I often have the thought about running more than. Let me see if I can turn this on. So let me go. So occasionally it makes me think about running more than 2, right? But it runs pretty good with just 2 in there. Unless once you're working through the Storm, you can put all of them back in your hand, and that works pretty good. I've not risked running more than 2 yet. I think I will probably at some point, but I'm not risked running more than 2. And then of course, everybody knows how handy the Noxious Survival is to have in here. It's essentially a second glimpse if you've got it in your hand. All you have to do is hit a mana source, and then if you work your Cheerios right, you can use it as a second glimpse. Now, we've got the other glimpse here. Let me see if I can expand this out. So we've essentially got the other glimpse here, which is the bag that you have to have blue and green for. I've won several games by starting out with this and then storming into where I need to get to. I've never actually used the other side of this card. Then the other big change from the way I usually play it is I put the personal tutors on the side. And I don't know if that's the right choice or not, but generally it's just so rare that I get the blue source to start off with, which you think would also affect the Beck. But if you got the blue source, then you want to be able to go off that turn. So personal tutor has been a weird one for me. I think probably what I'll do is I'll end up bringing it out of the sideboard if I'm playing a discard deck, which there's a lot of in Legacy. But I'm going to try it like this sort of full tilt combo out manner here. So then of course Ingot Chewers for the increasing number of Chalice of the Void that's out there. Wismare so I was playing a game the other day when they had Leyline of Combustion out, and then it meant that I couldn't grape shot them at the end of the game. And there's other, Leyline of Sanctity, kind of things like that. If they don't know that you're running this and you're playing a deck that you suspect might run Leyline of Sanctity, then they'll just let you combo out, knowing what your kill condition is, and be like, You know, they just sort of sit there saying, well, I'm just going to let them combo out, see what happens, you know. So you want the creatures with Evoke because they trigger the Glimpse of Nature, of course. So you get your spell out of it and you trigger Glimpse of Nature. And then, of course, another endless one if you find yourself in a situation where you just need more Cheerios. I think I've got one main board here. One main board, okay. And then some extra grape shots if you're playing something like Humans, where you need to take care of some pesky human making you pay more life for spells or whatever. And then the most handy card for control decks, in my opinion, is Anti-Swarm. So let's see how this one works out, and hopefully get in a few interesting games here. But what's been frustrating with Legacy is the amount of just blue-black control that's out there is just insane. So, wow, there's no more people on here than that. Legacy League. I don't want to do a league right now. Legacy Open Play, there's nobody in there. Well, maybe we'll just do one match here. Yeah. Oh, there was somebody else just popped up there. I wonder if I should do leave event. Yeah. Oh. Okay. There we go. I think it's that guy anyway. Okay, so we only got 2 Cheerios here, so I think we played this one slow. We've got the Taiga, Savannah, and a Land Grant, so we can play either one of these that we need to. So I think we can play this one slow here. Ah, shocking. Yeah. Blue-black. It gets kind of monotonous seeing blue-black in Legacy because it's just everybody. They all play blue-black. I expect to see that baneful Strix, or whatever it's called, the bird is going to come out. They'll sideboard in him to Turok. It's just so common anymore. I think we go for it next turn. 3 Cheerios is good. We can pull the other land out of the library with Land Grant here. But I think risking it with 3 Cheerios is not quite there yet. See where he's at. See if we see the bird here. Wasteland, of course. Another staple. Alright. We can try the Glimpse here, and if he counters it, we can Land Grant next turn. And then if that works, play the back. So let's see what happens here. Hakusio. No. Okay. Yeah, Baneful Strix. Yeah. God, that's so predictable. You know, I would hate to think that I was playing a deck that was that. Before you even start the match, you can just assume you're playing Legacy, and you can just say, "Oh, that's probably what they're playing." Okay. Land grant will give them an unnecessary look at our hand, but I don't think we got a choice. Play the land grant and then try out. We got 4 Cheerios here and a Noxious Revival. If we can get a cast here, we can have a go at it. But at the end of their turn, okay. At the end of their turn, if they counter it here, we're not playing Noxious Revival. Did it get played? Cast back. Okay, I guess it got played. So if we hit a mana source here, we'll immediately want to use Noxious Revival. Okay. Okay, now we want to draw it. Okay, so he's already passed through the turn here. Looking thin here. We could Noxious the Glimpse back up. And then Kobolds and hope one of those is a Cheerio. I think that's our best chance here. Let's Noxious the Glimpse back up. Then hope one of these two that draws here is a Cheerio. Oh, yes. Okay. Now we got 3 draws. God, it's getting close. We might as well play out Endless One as a 1. Yeah. There we go. Now we got it going. So we don't want to stop here. So this is a good example of where the game 1, it's nice to have the Pact of Negation in there, because we don't know what kind of shenanigans he's planning. And yeah, there it is. I'm going to cast one more Cheerio, and then we'll do... we got it. Let's see, we got a Lotus Petal here. Oh, I think we need to get another... Yeah, we need to get another mana source. Alright. So let's see what happens here. He's got something in his hand, or he's just making me play through the combo. It feels good to have the Pact of Negation sitting there. Oh, he's just making me play through it. Okay. So the question is here. So last time we played this deck, it paid off to go full tilt combo, which essentially in this situation would be bringing the other endless one, dumping something like Bushwhacker. But we're on the draw here, which means you expect a Thoughtseize opening turn. So I think we set this up to play a long game. Let's bring in the Xantid Swarms. Let's take those out and lose the Bushwhacker. So I got Land Grants, Spirit Guides, Lotus Petals. Wish there was a way you could get it to just default set up the way you wanted it to. I guess there's a chance that at the end of the storm, you know, he's going to play Flusterstorm, right? So I guess there's a chance that at the end of that, he has 2 Flusterstorms, meaning 2 Pact to Negation or whatever. Problem is Flusterstorm exiles it, right? So we need another kill condition other than Grape Shot. So I think Bushwhacker's probably not a bad move here. Let's take out one of the Xantid Swarms. No, let's take out the Cantor. Yeah. See how this goes. He brought in, very likely, Flusterstorms, maybe Force of Negation. The rest of his Thoughtseize, right? They generally don't run 4 Thoughtseize. At least not in my experience. So, see how this goes. Ooh. Only got 1 Cheerio. Got the Glimpse, but I only got a Scapegoat. Man, this would be great if we just had a few turns. But have to expect a Thoughtseize here. I think we're mulliganing. And look for something with more Cheerios. Yeah. Well, gosh, it's a hard one. I think it's game 2. Got the first game was a win. Essentially, if we keep this, the game plan is to. No, he's going to play a Thoughtseize. Sorry, so let's mulligan this. I like this. I like these. Okay, I'm going to keep this. If he Thoughtseizes this, he's going to put Glimpse of Nature on the bottom. He'll make us discard Glimpse of Nature. And we've got Noxious Revival. Yeah, this is a good setup here. Expect the Thoughtseize. There we go. See? This is 80% of the Legacy world right now is this deck. We wanted to go after Glimpse. We're just fine with that. Oh, shucks. So now there's 2 routes of play here. So we could Noxious Survival at the end of his turn, put Xantid Swarm back up. Or we wait, if we hit another Cheerio, it's a perfect time to play Glimpse. So he's probably got Force of Will. So let's say at the end of the turn, let's Noxious Revival. Xantid Swarm back up. Okay. Hurt to do away with that Xantid Swarm so early, but I think that's okay. See if he forces it. So we burned. What did he exile? Exile's Force of Will was Force. So on that Xantid Swarm, he used 2 Force of Wills and a Thoughtseize, just trying to deal with that Xantid Swarm. That's how strong that card is against his deck. That's something to think about. It's looking good. We just want to wait. If he hits another Thoughtseize, we'd be sitting pretty rough. But really, I want to hit a land. I want to hit a land here and wait for another Xantid Swarm. But another Thoughtseize would be rough. Okay, so he's going to do Thoughtseize. Yeah. Okay. So we probably lost this match. Generally, there's not much coming back from that situation like that. But that shows you, though, how strong the Xantid Swarm is against these control decks. That's how much they'll fight to keep that card off the field. We'll be on the draw next game, though. Or on the play next game, so. This is probably, this is concede time. Yeah, that's concede time. Okay, so we're on the play. So now we look at changing everything back around. Because beyond the play is you want a much different, you want to go for a much different tactic than if you were on the draw here. You sort of sideboard differently depending on which one you are. So last time it paid off to go full war combo. Maybe we just lose the 2 Xantid Swarms and go for Endless One. That way we still got them there for later in the game if we need them. Yeah. And so it's either that or take out the Xantid Swarms, put the Beckon Calls in. I don't know, I like this. This sort of, well, so it's just 2 cards in there that you're, yeah. All right, let's try it. Let's not second guess ourselves too much here. But you definitely want the deck to be different depending on whether you're on draw or on the play. Well, this is a good keeper because the Thoughtseize target is going to be one of those glimpses. So we have nothing to do on opening play, but this is a keeper. He mulliganed. Mulligan for that force. What I'd like to draw now is a land. On the next draw step would be a land. That would be nice. No Thoughtseize. So we got to throw one of these down. Might as well be the walker, right? If we can hit a land here, if we can hit one of the lands we've got, or a land grant, we know we can start fighting through the counters here. We got 2 Glimpse and a Noxious Revival, which means we can fight pretty good through a counter. He's on 1 blue. Here's a Lotus Petal. See if he counters that. So here's probably going to be the play here. We play the Glimpse, he counters it. At the end of his turn, we Noxious Revival the Lotus Petal. Try to play a Glimpse again. So, who knows? See how this goes. Sometimes they let the combo play out. If they've got a Flusterstorm in hand, they let you just go ahead and play through the combo and then have to deal with Flusterstorm at the end. I like that. Target player draws 2 cards, then discards 2 cards. Gain control of target artifact. You get an emblem with. Okay. Spell that targets 1 or more permanents. Gain control of those permanents. Okay. What's he going to do here? Is he going to Faithless Looting himself? Yeah. So essentially now, if we're playing with the idea that he's got Force of Will, but nothing to say that for sure. So we're going to try this here. We want to get the Lotus Petal. Okay. He had nothing to say about the Noxious Revival, so see what he says now. Well, he didn't want to. So draws the next card. Let's see what mine look like here. Negation, land grant. I'm not sure. I don't think I would have bottomed out here. This would have been 1, 2 lost card. Yeah, I would. So I'd have been double glimpsing. But okay, so that is how you play through Control and Legacy. Things like Xanted Swarm and Glimpse of Nature in combination with Noxious Revival is what keeps you alive versus Control. So I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you play through Control. And you saw how strong Xanted Swarm is against Control decks. How many cards he's willing to use just to keep it off the board. So there's nobody here to play with. So I don't know. I guess that's the only match I'll do tonight. There's nobody here, and I don't want to do a league right now. So let me know what you think. I mean, that's the general Legacy game. You play that deck a lot. So anyway, let me know what you think about how the sideboarding worked. if you have any thoughts about that and the current setup of the deck, right? So the running one Pact of Negation main board, I think, has been really helping. Wild Cantor and the Grape Shot, Goblin Bushwhacker is a backup to the Grape Shot. I think this has been a pretty good setup so far. Ingot Chores, luckily, I don't come across too many of those Chalice decks, but they're pretty recognizable when you see them. But at some point, I'll come up against one when I'm making a video, I'm sure. But anyway, so that's the current list. That's how it goes. Played through Control, okay. So let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching.